Okay, it's recording. The man from Iceland is here.
Well, welcome everybody to the Australian Numismatic Society's meeting, 1211. We have apologies from Peter Atherton, David Mead, Matthew Lloyd, Les Carlisle, Maurice Lyons, Barry Towers, Joe Detling, Ross Preckley. Yeah, so Ross won't be here, so he's probably the only other person who wouldn't come.
Yeah, Ross was saying that because he lives at... Yeah, and he was saying with the traffic up from the the mountains where he lives up, I forget which mountains it is, he said he just didn't want to travel out in this weather. He said there's that much storms and branches and things around that he didn't want to travel in the dark, in the wet, in this sort of weather. So
You probably get so far and have to go home after that, something like that as well.
yeah.
The kangaroos around.
Oh. Yeah.
We're in a new
Murray
fight.
Brad's on that list.
Sorry?
Murray Brad was on the apology.
Murray Brad? Okay, we'll put Murray Brad on.
No, it's in the book.
It's in the book? Ah, yeah. Well, we can also put as per book.
Yeah, she's just had a week or so in hospital too, hasn't she? She dropped a pot on her leg or something, I think, and dug a hole in her leg, and it's
How you feel? Because you've been in hospital too, haven't you?
yeah. Oh, just got to watch myself.
Don't we all?
Bloody lot better than it was this time last month.
Right. Oh.
So are you taking pills or anything for it?
No, but it's still got the doctors baffled as to where it came from. Gave it a fancy name. I've still got the district nurses coming every second day to dress it and whatever.
Yeah.
But actually what she's dressing is actually not the original problem. The original problem was no problem at all. This is typically as you go to hospital you get something else.
Yeah.
So where they had the drain in, they took that out and that's healed up okay, but there was a sort of a secondary abscess or whatever came up.
When Grant told me what the name of the...
Yeah.
I tried to look it up on the internet and I couldn't find it, and I was thinking, What is
it was
You spelt it.
Iliopsis or something. Iliopsis, whatever. But so that had the doctors baffled.
Okay, look, we're into a new financial year for the Australian Numismatic Society, and anybody that needs to pay their membership fee, just go and see Rod. He'll gladly take the money.
I think I've managed to get the money off everyone here.
The James Cook 250th anniversary medal has been distributed. I got mine in the mail, thank you.
If you want a silver one, it's $15.
Yeah, okay. All right, a silver medal with the gold ANS logo available for $15. So it's not too much.
Much bigger than the other ones.
Next month's meeting is on the 14th of September. Again here at Phil's house. It's the AGM and members other collections. Okay, so yeah. As far as the AGM is concerned, yeah, like we've got to re-elect the committee and everything else. So please, for any of you guys that are really like to become president for a year, just let me know.
The committee is not
Secretary.
onerous. If you're on an email, we do everything by email now. So unlike the old days where you'd all have to travel into somewhere and spend a couple of hours discussing ANS stuff and then going out for dinner or something. We don't do that. It's just by email.
Yeah. Well, that's the best part,
All
though.
working from home.
Yeah, but anyway, look, there's always room for anyone that wants to get involved in the committee. So, yeah, have a think about that. And next month's topic of the meeting after the AGM will be members' other collections. It's always interesting because You know, you sort of think to yourself, well,
Other than numismatics, in other
all we
words.
collect is coins. Well, no, you know, there's always something else that we can collect.
Unfortunately, my orchids are looking pretty sick at the moment, so
Yeah,
they
yeah,
haven't had much attention for a while.
yeah. Is there any general business that anyone wants to mention? Anything new that they've seen or want to bring up at the meeting? No? Nothing? Okay.
Well, I'll just make a mention. I'll actually show you. I've ordered the next 3 ANS proclamation coins. So I think our proclamation coins currently go until 2022 or 2023, so there's 24 and the start of 25. We have 8 proclamation coins to go.
Yeah.
There's 3 silver ones, which are these 3 ones that are being produced. First, that one is an East India Company rupee. So we have it. It has all the Arabic sort of writing on it. It's a silver coin. That one is a Bolivian 8 reals, and that one is a Peruvian 8 reals. So they look somewhat similar, but one of them is Charles III and one of them is Charles IV, so slightly different portrait, etc. And they have sort of different little markings on which signify that they're made at different mints.
Okay.
So they're slightly different. So that's the last 3 sort of silver ones. Then we have 3 more gold ones and 2 more copper ones to make in the following year. And then our proclamation series more or less comes to an end. But that takes us up to like 2027 or so. So we have to think about what are we going to do after that. Now, I'm sort of planning ahead that some of us might still be here in 2029.
Might that might.
I was thinking
Well,
about
Grant
it,
should be anyway. You know, can't talk for the rest of us, but you should be. So I was sort of thinking, well, you know, maybe we go on to the Australian series, Holy Dollar and Dump, Adelaide Pounds Type 1 and 2,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
the Port Jackson Kangaroos and all those sort of early Australianas there. But anyway, that's the future. But the medals that we make for the society, I think, is fairly well received. So you know, we should keep on going.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we make the 2 varieties, members tend to assist by buying the other one, so that helps to defray the cost for the whole lot. And because like I'm making 3 and we only give 2 a year and we make it twice a year, so you know, come February I'll probably be making another 2, and come this time next year we'll be making the last 3. By this time next year the proclamation series will have been finished. And we still have like 6 years worth, you know, so it's stock that's all building up that over the years will be sold, we hope, and we can make money on. Making money on the silver Captain Cook's, as I said, is $15, but I made extra of these because Captain Cook is a very popular theme. A lot of people collect Captain Cook, so I'm assuming that a lot of non-ANS members would also like to have the Cook medal. So I made an extra 100 of each. So we have an extra 100 gold ones and an extra 100 silver ones of those. So if you know anybody who collects Captain Cook, tell them to contact me and I'll be happy to take their money. John,
Are they going to be at the same price as what you do buy them for, or are you going to mark them up?
no, we're giving the same prices. We make a profit out of this. Yeah. I mean, they will have to pay for the gold one because the members get the gold one free. But I brought an extra. When do you have your Illawarra Numismatic meeting?
The clubs still, the clubs are still on restrictions.
Has it?
Yeah.
Ah,
So that's the problem. So like here it's not too bad because they're not relying on membership, right? at the at the Leeds Club down at Dapto, they are still on restrictions, so therefore they don't want 40 people sitting there at a meeting not drinking and eating. They want that 40 people to be downstairs eating and drinking because that's part of the 300 I think that they can have.
Yeah.
Right, so they won't let us in until everything's taken away.
Right.
And again, like we're going through the second phase now, so it's I can't see us getting together anytime soon.
Right, because I brought in extras if you were having your meeting to see if you could flock some to your members since I had spares.
I've got a friend of mine. He belongs to the Cook Society, and he would probably be the guy to talk to.
I'll let you take those with you.
Well, thanks.
No, but he's a Cook Society. I'm sure he'll want them, and we can supply more. As I said, I made 100 extra of each.
All these members, because like they were planning a big celebration, and it all just went.
Why? Because of the Black Lives Matters rubbish, or what?
Not just that. It's just that like if they were going to have a bit of a celebration on the 29th of April, when Cook actually landed here.
Yeah.
But it wasn't allowed. Because we were in lockdown at that time.
Is there any Petersham shows on this year at all?
Well, they hope there will be. I think the next one's due end of September, isn't it? So it just depends on what the restrictions are.
Maybe that's an avenue to flog some of those.
Oh yeah, and also usually in October we have the Ander Fair at Town Hall. Now I'm hoping by October things will be there that they can have that, because I have all these extra ones and I'm sure we'd sell a lot of cook medals at the Ander Fair.
Next year.
Yeah, okay.
The medals are here. The cook collectors will want them. So I mean, there's only 250 and 150. It's not as if it's a lot. So it's 150 silver and 250 gold. So that's the mintage. Not a lot.
So 150 silver.
150 silver, 250 gold. And we have the other varieties for the conference.
Okay. I'll talk to him. See what I can do. Anything else? Nothing. You haven't read anything about any coins, any hoards, any. Nothing.
The Noble Numismatic auction went very well.
Okay.
I was telling the boys there. Unfortunately, I wasn't there on the Friday, so I didn't get the final figures, but it was really very, very well patronised. People didn't there were some people went physically, but there was a lot of bids online, a lot of computer bids and phone bids. And because there were so many bidding coming online, each lot took longer to get through. Even though they were going quickly, the computer bids just kept upping each other, but it added an extra 10-15 seconds to each lot, and it just meant that they were just going overtime.
So how did that actually work then? Did they have it? Did they have people watching the screens
I'm not sure.
and bidding for the people on?
Oh yeah, you could watch it live. Where I was there on showing the auction lots to the people who were there. But while the auction was on, we had a little computer on, and it was linked in, and I could see.
Like different people's names would come up,
Yeah.
or lot, like bidder numbers, I'd say. Bidder numbers would come
I
up
think
one
they
after the
were
other.
they were called paddle numbers,
Yeah.
So it's paddle 242 or whatever it is, was bidding there, and then outbid by paddle 315, and
Yeah.
but then there was the people in the room as well who had their bidder numbers, and it went very, very well right from the very start. Usually you get the bulk lots at the start, where it was all the Royal Australian Mint stuff, that nobody sort of wanted. Well, those ones went well. I had a look at a few of the lots, and I was thinking, some of these lots are pretty good. Now, there was one lot I was looking at which had an estimate of $50 on it, and I looked through this, And one of the PNCs was the red Queen Elizabeth one with the not coronation, the there, yeah. And it's $100 PNC, you know. So I was thinking, okay, I'm going to bid on this lot for the A&S, and I'd buy it and split it all up and put it in our auctions, you know. Forget that. I mean, it was a $50 estimate, but it sold for 240. So you know, wasn't even. And they were all like that. And I mean, okay, there were a few lots that were passed in, but boy, the lots were going well. I was looking at the gold. It was a quiet time, so I was just sitting in front of the computer, watching Jim's son.
Not
Red or white?
In the office.
yeah.
Not Colin.
They're not called.
I can't think of his
I-
name.
I
But,
don't know
but
the
he
people
was the
back
auctioneer. He got roped into.
Oh, so they didn't have another auctioneer sort of...
They had an auctioneer, but I
In the
think the
room.
auctioneer comes up from Melbourne or
Paul?
something. Not Paul.
No, the other one.
Yeah.
I'm looking down the list.
No, the only son I know is Ashley. But
No,
he,
no.
he wasn't.
Simon.
Simon, yes,
Simon.
Simon. So Simon was the auctioneer for most of the time.
Oh,
He
was
did the
he?
first session. So he went from 9:30, and they combined the two sessions. It was sort of due to finish at 12:30, and then the following session was at 2 o'clock. Well, that first session didn't finish till 1:30, so they had time just to rush across, have some lunch, and go back. And then the next session did the same, and there was a 7:30 session each night. Well, on the Friday night, the 7:30 session didn't finish till 11:30. Yeah. So okay, it raised a lot more money, but it took a bit more time.
What was the session, the last one, from 7:30 to 11:30? What was that selling? What was that selling?
Again, well, they always had them. You know, they used to have
It was always at 7:30.
seven.
Didn't go to 11:30.
Yeah.
Was it military
They
stuff?
used to
or
have
what?
a 9:30 session as well. I think it used to be 7:30 to 9:30, and then 9:30 would go to 10:30 sort of thing. But this one, you know, was going almost to midnight. So people were saying, "Oh, yeah." So, but because there was so much online bidding, and what next was just pushing the auctions longer. But the good thing was the prices realised were good. So,
Yeah.
I wanted one Shanghai medal. There was a guy who was selling his police medals, had a collection of police medals from around the world. And the very last one was from the Shanghai police. My father was in the Shanghai police. I might already have this medal, but this was a particularly nice cap badge with the Shanghai International Settlement logo on it. And I was thinking, oh, that would be nice. And it was estimated, I think it was $750. So I was thinking, okay, with the 20% commission and the 2% on top of that, 22% commission, it would end up costing me $925. And I said, okay, I can stretch that far. So I put in a bid. Well, when I looked it up online to see what it sold for, it went for $2,400. So I said, okay.
I bet it went back to
Forget it.
Shanghai.
Someone got Shanghai.
Definitely gone back to Shanghai, I'd say.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, you know, I mean, that was sort of the price differences that were going on. There was a very nice French medal there that they hadn't classified it nicely in the catalogue. It was a Napoleonic one, and it was sort of said medal to Jean Marshal, blah blah, and then it said Salty, but it was Napoleon's general. You know, he had quite a few good generals, and Salty and Ney were his two major generals, and this guy Salty, they didn't highlight the Salty bit, they just said Jean, which was obviously his first name, you know, but Marshal Salty. And I was chatting with one of the ladies who was helping them at the auction. She was obviously on the other side putting in the bids or whatever. So, and I was showing her, I said, this is a great medal, you know, if you're interested in French historic Napoleonic medals, this one's really good. You know, and that estimate's pretty good. Anyway, she wanted it. She got it, but she paid a bit more than the estimate. But, you know.
Rudy, would he have been interested in that?
Hmm?
Rudy, would he be interested in that, yeah?
Might have been.
Yeah, I know.
Don't know who's banging down there.
It's not somebody trying to get in the front door.
Let me just double check it hasn't
We'll
been
stay
locked.
here a little bit longer, it'll
Could
be
be
in.
George.
They could knock rather than kicking.
I'm surprised that there was anybody actually out there. I thought it was only all online. I thought there was no room bidders.
Well, as long as they keep their distance, I suppose it's probably all right, yeah.
You know, I suppose they were
No
committed.
doubt, they library make sure that the seating is right, that that guy that's an inspector there making sure all's right, I guess.
At the
Otherwise
library.
they get fined $5,000.
The
No, I
library-
just thought, like, yeah, when I first saw it on screen, I thought there it was online only, but I misread it,
Mm.
which I do quite a bit lately.
Me too.
No, the library had a limit of 20 people in the room, and when I was there, there were 20 people. So there was a few did turn up.
Right. Sort of right.
Well, I think people abide by the rules.
All right, well, if there's no further general business, the topic of the night was Europe, 1850 to 1900.
Has everybody seen the latest cap? Do you all know that the note printing Australia is part of the big conspiracy, the coronavirus conspiracy?
Yeah?
The article's here. So you can all have, some people have had a look at it already.
Conspiracy theory, eh?
In 2017. So they knew already in 2017 that this was coming.
$10.
Yeah.
Well, we'll move on to the Europe 1850 to 1900. Did anyone bring along anything to show? Okay. Go for it.
I met him,
I haven't got anything because I came straight from Leppington.
appreciate that because of their age, of course, they're going to be rather hard to see, some of these, but not being a good researcher, I've done what I can, but first to
Francais.
Napoleon III, who was from April 1808 to January 1873. He was a nephew of Napoleon I and cousin of Napoleon II, and he was the first president of France from 1848 to 1852, and the last French monarch from 1852 to 1870. They're both 10 centimes. Both pretty much the same, apart from just a little bit of difference because there's about 10 years difference in the two coins, so a little bit of facial difference.
Has a bigger beard than the later one.
Yeah, he's got the first one's 1854, when he was 46, and he's facing to the right. Then in 1864 he was 56. It was the same as the 1854 except for the change of hairstyle as far as I could see there. It's about the only difference in it.
Got a bit of a mohawk.
Yeah. So got with it. Then we got this one's going to be very hard to see, of course, because it's so small and being in Firstly, you might not even be able to see it at all. There's the there's some 1884. There's a 1 cent team. And the obverse was of Louis Philippe I, known as the Citizen King. Now, I got rather confused because when I was looking up, the dates seemed to cross over one another, but
We can't
that's as
see
much
it
as I
through.
No, you're not going to really be able to see anything at all on that one, I say, because it
Unfortunately,
is so very small and dark.
well, it's the reflection on the 2x2.
Yeah. And then,
Bottom 2x2 open.
yeah, you can pull it open, don't worry about it.
Open it.
Whether you will get it any better or not. So.
Don't.
Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, that's better. We'll get that.
Oops. You like his Buffon hairstyle?
Un centime.
Yeah, and then similar again, but in 1888, it's a 5 cent team, so it's the same hairstyle and whatever, so not much difference there. Then we go to the next one is an 1883 5 Swiss francs. It's the Lugano Shooting Festival. And the obverse is arms, the city view of the lake, and the reverse is 2 figures seated on a tunnel. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. What's that one? They're rather similar. And the next one is from...
So this is from Switzerland,
Yeah.
from one of the cantons, is it?
Yeah. It doesn't say which one though. Well, Lugano actually is the
Lugano.
canton.
I don't think I've ever spotted that one before.
Yeah, I think I have shown it before. And the other one very similar. It's from 1885. It's once again it's a 5 Swiss francs, but this is from Bern. It's called a shooting tower.
Mm-hmm.
And the obverse is a man standing with a shield. In the inscription, Ben Bun Zung Schutz, whatever, translated means the Federation to protect, the enemy to defy.
That's a nice comment.
Yeah, that one's come up nice.
Yeah. Considering their age, they're pretty good.
Are they silver?
Yeah.
Oh, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Keep going. No, keep
Um,
going the other way. Oh,
That's a bear there.
there's the bed.
Bear for Bern.
Yeah. And the next one we have is a from 1859, an Italian 5 lira. The obverse is of Victor Emmanuel II of Italy, who was King of Sardinia from 1849 until March 1861, when he assumed the title of King of Italy and became the first king of a united Italy.
Quite a nice reverse too.
John might be able to help me out with this one. It's an 1869 10 lepta.
And that, yeah.
The obverse is of King George I from 1863 to 1913. The translation is George I, King of the Greeks. The reverse is denomination inside a wreath, and it's the first of the modern drachmas.
10 lepta.
Yeah. And that's the same size as an Australian penny,
Hmm.
but that's because of the European Monetary Union.
Right.
So they made all their coins the same standard size as each other. And that's right. I brought one over, not in that good condition. I brought one and an Australian penny a couple of months ago. Where I said, when I was a kid, Mum used to, and all my aunts and uncles and that used to refer to pennies as becadas, tenors.
Yeah.
I had no idea why, and then because that's what they had in Greece, exactly the same size.
Same
10
size,
leptas, yeah.
Then, yeah, I thought I had these all nicely lined up, but I've seen they're coming out of the packets now. This one I can't figure out what it is. Somebody might be able to tell me. I can't find a date on it. The only thing that identifies it is a half K, which I take to be a half kroner, but I can't make out. I couldn't find a translation for the inscription.
Where's it from?
Well, that's just so I can't. Couldn't figure out what it is. John might be able to help me there. Well, being a half K, is it a kroner? Or that's what I'm assuming it's a kroner.
What country it's from?
Well, that's what I couldn't sort of find any, but it helped me out. It's obviously a queen, but
That's a half K.
I couldn't find a date or anything on it, so I'm assuming it is a coin. But
Could be Russian too. Half kopeck.
oh,
What's the writing look like?
It'd be one of the Scandinavian countries.
I'd say it's Scandinavian, that's for sure.
Scandinavia would be a kroner.
That's another corona
Yeah.
problem.
It's not so really.
Nobody recognised the Queen? No?
She doesn't look impressed.
Oh, that's what you look at, is it? Oh.
She doesn't
No,
look
it's another
she doesn't look
coronavirus.
impressed.
Something by, what was her?
Yeah. Well, I'm taking it is a queen.
Oh yes, Maria Theresa of Austria. That's who it is. M. Teresa. Maria Theresa, by grace of God.
Oh, it's Austrian.
Okay.
Ah, Rex. Regina. Yeah. Austrian. Maria Theresa.
Okay.
Usually you see the Maria Theresa thalers, you know, the big
Yeah,
silver
quite
coins.
big ones, yeah.
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 Lovely coins.
We'll write that down in your book, Dad, so you know what
Then we have a 1893 from Hungary as a 20 filler. And your verse is a crown with a crooked cross atop, so it's
Crooked cross.
well, the cross is laying over, so with a better.
Oh, not the crooked.
Magyar.
Produced here in the reign of Francis Joseph from
Franz
who was
Joseph, is it? Yeah.
from 1848 to 1916.
He ruled Austria and Hungary.
It's a bit unusual in that it has a medal alignment rather than normal coin alignment, but
Pretty filler.
the same up to. Then we have a 1871 25 aura, which I'm not too sure. I think is well, the best I could make out of that is Carl the 15th, Carl Gustav the 15th. It was from 1826 to 1872.
Sverige
He
and
was
Norway.
the King of Sweden and Norway.
And Norway, yeah.
That's half K, that'd be a half cruiser.
Cruiser.
Kreuzer.
Yeah, all right.
Charles the 15th, okay.
And then this little tiny one is virtually the same thing, but it's a 10 order from 1870. Oh, sorry, I got myself out there. And this one is a 10 cruiser. It doesn't have the car, it just says the 10. But I figured it out to be a 10 cruiser. It's
Kreuzer, yeah. Austrian, is it?
Francois
Franz Joseph.
Austria Imperator translates to Franz Joseph I, by the grace of God, Austrian Emperor.
It's a younger one of him. Still have it upside down.
I nearly didn't put these in because I thought every man and his dog would have Queen Vic, but so again there's just slight differences in the hairdo and what have you between the different ages. You've got Queen Vic, who was
Young head.
from 1819 to 1901, Queen of Great Britain and Ireland from 1837 until her death. She also adopted the title of Empress of India from 1876. Her reign of 63 years was the longest till then, but I think Liz has just outdone her, hasn't she, or she was about to.
She got the title of Empress of India because her daughter Vicky married the German Kaiser,
Right.
and they were given the title of emperors, emperor and empress.
So she got Empress.
And it got her nose out of joint because her daughter was an empress and she was only the queen. You know? So that's when they concocted the Empress of India.
So, but the only difference is just that, again, just the hairstyle between, for 10 years,
Yes,
and then
it's a Jubilee.
Is it-
Jubilee 97, is it? 96, yeah.
I've got 1875 and 1896,
Yeah.
and then there's a farthing from 1862, so there's the same hairstyle in between. So that's what I had.
What about that one?
No, that's
Oh, the first one. Oh, it's a good selection.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
All over the world.
All over
I'm
Europe.
rather disappointed in the rest of you, but I thought, yeah. That's what I thought everyone would have the Queen Vic and whatever.
I thought a few people would bring Queen Vic as well.
That half K, Frank, that was, it says on the internet, it was in an auction like 2009, selling for $8.
Oh, well, that one's got to be a 10.
1760.
All right.
All right. Nobody else?
Yeah, I've got.
Right.
Yeah, I knew Rod would let us down.
I'm glad you brought the French ones, sir. The
Oh, Grant's got something.
No, I'm taking photos of that.
Oh, okay.
I brought a couple of bimetallics in. And even though it says 1850, I cheated. These are 1848
Oh, I was going to do that too.
because they were
You
bimetallic.
had 1760.
And I brought in a little screed on it. It says the 1848 revolution in France, sometimes known as the February Revolution, was one of a wave of revolutions in 1848 in Europe. In France, the revolutionary events ended the July monarchy, the 1830 to 1848, and led to the creation of the Second Republic. Following the overthrow of King Louis Philippe in February 1848, the elected government of the Second Republic ruled France. In the months that followed, this government steered a course that became more conservative. On the 23rd of June 1848, the people of Paris rose in insurrection, which became known as the June Days Uprising, a bloody but unsuccessful rebellion by the Paris workers against a conservative turn in the Republic's course. On the 2nd of December 1848, Napoleon III, was elected President of the Second Republic, largely on peasant support. Exactly 3 years later, he suspended the elected assembly, establishing the Second French Empire, which lasted until 1870. Louis Napoleon went on to become the de facto last French monarch. So these are a couple of bimetallic medallions that were put out to commemorate the 1848 insurrection. So this one you can see there's a stockade with the French flag there. It says the 23rd, 24th February, and it refers to the first Paris uprising. On the other side it says Republic of France. There. The second one is 1848. Again, it's got the there, and it says liberty, equality, fraternity, 22nd to 24th of February. So both of them are sort of medals that were bimetallic medals that were produced in reference to this 1848 rebellion against Louis Philippe. Louis Philippe, I believe, was sort of related to the Louis the XVI, who got his head cut off. So obviously, after Napoleon was defeated, the British and everyone else found some relative to become the sort of monarch in France. The second medal is 1852, so we are in the period there. And again, you were talking about Napoleon III, so it has Napoleon III on it. And talking about the Volontaire National on the 16th of December 1852, when he suspended the assembly and the what's it called? Second French Empire. The Second French Empire, officially the French Empire, was the imperial Bonapartist regime of Napoleon III from 1852 to 1870, between the Second Republic and the Third Republic in France. Historians in the 1930s and 40s often disparaged the Second Empire as a precursor of fascism. That interpretation is no longer promulgated, and by the late 20th century they were celebrating it as leading example of a modernizing regime. Historians have generally given the empire negative evaluations on its foreign policy and somewhat more positive evaluations of domestic policies, especially after Napoleon III liberalized his rule after 1858. He promoted French business and exports. The greatest achievement came in material improvements in the form of a grand railway network that facilitated the commerce and tied the nation together and centered it on Paris. It had the effect of stimulating economic growth and bringing prosperity to most regions of the country. The Second Empire is given high credit for the rebuilding of Paris, with broad boulevards, striking public buildings, and very attractive residential districts for upscale Parisians. In international policy, Napoleon III tried to emulate his uncle, engaging in numerous imperial ventures around the world, as well as several wars in Europe. Using very harsh methods, he built up the French Empire in North Africa and Southeast Asia. Napoleon III also sought to modernize the Mexican economy and bring it into the French orbit, but this ended in a fiasco. He badly mishandled the threat from the Prussians, and by the end of his reign, Napoleon III found himself without allies in the face of overwhelming German force. So 1870 is the Franco-Prussian War, when the Germans took over. So they're my three little bimetallics.
When were the first bimetallics introduced?
Well, these aren't coins; these are just medals.
Yeah,
so there were bimetallics around this period. I have a German bimetallic from Cologne in Germany, which is 1658 or something like that. So it's a
There was something
type
much
little
more
medal.
modern.
there were Roman bimetallic medals as well. That some of the Roman generals made special medals that had a sort of outer ring with a different metal from the internal. At the nobles auction, I thought you might have been going there because there was a lot of coins from the Ionian Isles.
Oh, I didn't have time to catch up on it. Was
Yeah.
there? I didn't know.
Yeah, they were from the Mark Freehill collection. Very, very nice little Ionian Isles medals.
I have to have a
They
look.
all sold for good
I
prices.
haven't looked at the catalogue, to be honest. I have to have a look.
So they're my three.
Well, thanks for that. I'm sorry I didn't bring anything up because I,
Recent acquisitions at all?
recent acquisitions, anybody bring something that they,
More earlier, didn't bring them in.
didn't get a chance to, yeah.
I got some recent acquisitions I was given tonight.
$3 coin.
But not the 2021 that we're all after.
You got Mr. Squirrel.
There's that many of them around now.
This one was last year, was the armistice one. That was quite a difficult one to get.
You don't see them in circulation, do you?
Well,
They came out of circulation.
yeah.
What's the yellow one?
That's a Mr. Squiggle one. That was one of the Woolworths ones last year, Mr. Squiggle.
Mm.
But no, you don't. They're very popular now. I tried to get some of the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II, which was released early this year. Couldn't get any. I thought I'd get some from circulation, so I didn't buy them from the dealers. Can't get them now. They don't have it. I bought the packs. They also, every time they put these out, they used to put out a pack with them in. And because my friend in America, I got him hooked on collecting Australian coloured $2 coins. So, but he wanted the packs as well, because the packs all had the C mint mark ones, and the packs cost $15 each. So you know it's quite a bit of money. But all the packs have disappeared, and when I went into to see Wynyard Coins, M.R. Roberts, Joe was telling me, he said, they've all gone. All the packs are sold out. All the coins are sold out. Everyone's collecting these things now, and it's hard to find them. And luckily, I'd asked Joe to put 2 of the packs aside for me in March. I could get his booklet, and I emailed him and said, could you please put 2 of the packs in? When I'm next in the city, I'll come and pick it up. Well, I hadn't been in the city for 3 months because of the COVID thing. So when I was working at Noble's, one lunchtime, I went to the Reserve Bank to do what I call money laundering, to get new banknotes, you know, to buy new banknotes.
They still do
And-
that.
No, you can't get in the Reserve Bank. You can get into the security, and that's as far as you can go. Everything else is locked up. I tried to get into where the tellers are to exchange the banknotes. The security guard was saying that, sorry, because of COVID, no one's coming in. And anybody who works at the bank who wants to get money has to get it from the ATM. They can't see the tellers. So that was that. So I went down and picked up the stuff that Joe Detling had for me. And Joe wasn't there, but the young boy there picked it up, and he said, "Oh, you were lucky getting these then, because I paid the $15 for the 2 of them, plus I bought a series of bimetallic coins from Brazil. They had a whole series. Joe still has some down there. I think they were $50 for the set of 25 Brazilian 2 real coins for the Olympics. They had a special Olympics bimetallics. And the young lad was telling me these $15 packs that I bought were selling for $50 now, if you could find them. So, okay. thank you, I'll take my 2. But I couldn't get the coins.
I wonder who's buying these, stimulated young people, hopefully? Dunno.
Don't know.
Grandparents buying for their grandchildren?
I mean, there's still a lot of people collecting. At Nobles, there were still
But
people
there's been obviously
coming in,
acceleration.
to see. Like, I saw our Greek friend Stephen Perry,
Oh, yeah.
yes, Stephen Periphilaris, and James
Yeah.
Golfinopoulos.
Yeah.
They came in and viewed a few times. Having a chat with them.
Oh, they always popped in a few times.
Oh yeah, Steve is a wheeler dealer. He bought some nice stuff. But yeah, all in all, that auction went well. But these coloured $2 are being sought after now, so they'll be even harder to find.
The early ones might be rising a bit because
Well, the purple ones, the
2013 one.
2013.
The original, would they?
No, no.
Yeah,
The one, the poppy was the original.
yeah. Poppy one was the year before, but that was
The
for
Queen's,
the Queen's 75th.
Diamond Jubilee. That was always hard to get, and they were sort of quite expensive. The red poppies of 2012 have gone through the roof. Now, and there's a couple of other ones that I've had in the little cards for $15. All of a sudden they were like $60
Yeah,
because people were after them.
yeah. Those ones in the card.
Mm.
And I have to thank my friend Joe because he collected. And I said, oh, if I'm going to go and buy $15 card for him, I'll buy one for me too.
Mm.
So I've got all the cards as well. The purple ones,
Queens.
for the Queen's 75th, that was in 2013, and that's when we were celebrating our centenary, and we had a conference that year as well. And I can remember we were encasing some of the 2013 $2 coins.
Yeah, that's right.
And because these purple ones were out, I tried to get a hold of a whole pile of them. And we did, because the pop-up shop was in Brisbane, in Roma Street in Brisbane. And I'd emailed everyone saying, okay, you Queenslanders, the pop-up shop's there. Make sure you go down and get these $2 coins, exchange for the $2 coins. And remember your friends. So at the conference, a few of them had extra ones. So I bought as many as I could off them and gave them to Bruce to encase. So we encased 25 of those $2 in A&S rings. So, the 2013, they're hard, like you say, they're hard coin to get. But we only encased 25 or so because that was all we'd managed to collect. So those are really good ones to have as well.
Yeah.
I've got one.
Yeah. I've got one.
All right, is there anything else that we want to show? We'll make this a quick meeting.
Yeah, almost as quick as last month.
Yeah, well, last month you had the auction.
Yeah, but the auction only took 10 minutes.
All right, well, don't forget, next month we're here again on the 14th of September, and it's the AGM, so it'll be
Even quicker.
it'll be interesting to
Members, other collections.
see how many people want to become committee members, and then members other collections. So yeah, bring along something else that you've collected.
Besides orchids, do you collect anything else? I mean, orchids are so hard to show. Be hard for Grant to carry them all
Spirit
up.
levels and planes and whatever, but
Gauges.
Do you,
Yeah.
collect the old saws, the hand saws?
oh, I've got
I'm
quite a
trying to
few.
work out where I'm going to get rid of all the ones that I've got.
I was given a very nice hand plane, wooden hand plane. It was made in the 1870s or something, had all the details on it. I don't know where it is now. It's probably still somewhere in the garage or something, but this was given, when you get these old tools and whatnot, it's very nice, but they don't use them nowadays.
Nah.
No. That's right.
I've got an old hand forge. Wind up
You know, when my father was alive, he was a carpenter,
Yeah.
and I always remember him down in the shed sharpening his saws.
Yeah.
Right, you know, he wanted to make sure that he had a nice sharp saw for work the next day. And I don't know, I started collecting saws,
Yeah.
but now I find that when the saw goes blunt, you don't spend any time on it, you just go and buy
Buy
another.
another one.
Well, that's the crazy part about it. The last time I had one sharpened, I think it was about $25, but you had a Bunnings get one for $19, and you know,
Yeah. You know, you wait till Aldi sell them for $7, and they're still really sharp.
I used to sharpen my own saws. No, I had a saw set.
yeah.
You know, you
Oh,
have
I've
the
got
saw
all-
set
yeah,
that
I was never
you
really
set it
much
to
good
there
at
and
it,
go each one so you've got the right angle on the,
My dad used
on the
to do
tooth
that
and-
all the time.
and then you sharpen. You know, you have a file and
Yeah.
just sharpen with the file. But yeah,
A 3/4 file.
yeah, 3/4 file for sharpening the saws. But with the saw set, you know, you had to know how many teeth per inch and set it there. Used to do that.
Well, thanks for coming along. We'll see you all next month, and
Yep.
the tea and coffee's there for our